let's talk a little bit about cancellations. And we're going to start off the show by talking about everyone's favorite thirst trap streamer, Amouranth. And she got banned. She got banned hard.
She got banned real hard.
So
hard.
Guys, we're going to be talking about a lot of banning going on today, but I wanted to start off
banning.
Yes, so much banning. I want to start off with this one because Amouranth is no stranger to being banned. She gets banned off Twitch on the regular. But those are temporary bans. These are bans where after a couple of days she comes back on, she does her thing. However, Amouranth got her YouTube channel taken away from her recently, which I think is interesting because YouTube bans tend to last, right? Like once YouTube bans you, you're kind of up crap.
Yeah, you're kind of screwed. Yeah.
Yep. So what happened is that she had this ASMR channel that got banned a while ago, right? And she didn't really care. She was just like, okay, whatever. But then YouTube comes back and bans her main channel, which had something like, I think, over 1 million subs or something like that on it. And she's like, oh, that's not good. And then they also banned her personal channel that she didn't post anything to. Huh. And they say that it was for sexualized content, but she's like, I didn't do any of that stuff on there. But a lot of people are theorizing that YouTube is taking associations from her ASMR channel, which is against their terms of service, I guess, and applying it to all related channels.
Yeah, you're not allowed to, once you get banned, you can't create another channel and be like, oh, well, that one was banned.
Well, she had these channels before the ASMR channel was created. So these were, kind of grandfathered in, I guess. But she didn't get any warning. And in fact, she went on to Twitter, or I should say X, to complain to Team YouTube saying like, hey, what's going on here? Like, I didn't get any warning. I didn't get any strikes. It's just like all of a sudden, my personal channel, which I just used to like watch YouTube in peace, got banned. And then my main channel got taken down and I have no idea why. And so she's obviously not happy about that. But I wanted to open this up to the panel. So we'll start with our special guest, Reaper. Reaper, are you familiar with Amouranth, and what do you think of her getting banned?
Well, I said before, Google tends to ban every account associated. So even if it was just one account doing it, everything linked to it is got to go. I don't know why. I don't know why they've actually fully banned it. I think it's because this time of year, close to the elections, I think they're clamping down on everyone.
You mentioned the fact that it's an election season, and YouTube historically, every time an election season rolls around, they start dropping this ban hammer. But what I thought was a little bit interesting about this is that YouTube, I think it was mentioned in this article, YouTube has here it is. They have a creator responsibility policy. And this is something that I hadn't heard of before until I read this article, which is basically that YouTube takes into consideration a user's behavior off-site, which is one of the reasons why Dr. Disrespect's channel got deemed, I believe. But it's kind of disturbing that YouTube can say, well, you did this not on our site, but because you did this behavior in the real world, we're going to take you down. And this is also a platform that basically banned the channel of the sitting president of the United States back in the 2020 election cycle. Yeah. So they have a history of basically just not giving a fuck who they ban. And it's all based around this creator responsibility policy. What do you think are the dangers, Reaper, of basically these platforms banning people for what they do when they're not on the platform?
Well, Patreon's done a similar thing where it bans people who had, because they only had a policy saying if you say anything on our platform, you'll get banned. Then that wasn't the case, and loads of people lost their money. And it's just going to be weaponized by everyone to go after certain people, because all it takes is a very zealous YouTube partner to go after 3 people. You've got no other recourse. YouTube doesn't tell you any sort of reason why you get banned. You have to spend years trying to even figure out the reason why. So as they become more prevalent every election cycle, you're just going to get more and more people being banned for stuff they said years ago that's not even relevant anymore.
Oh my God, that's not good. We're doing
yeah, we are.
That's not good.
It's terrible.
Really isn't good. So, but yeah, we'll be one of the first to fall, I'm sure. But Brian, Amouranth is known for being a kind of spicy streamer. She has successfully leveraged her popularity on Twitch and YouTube to get people to follow her over on OnlyFans, where she makes like $2 to $3 million a month. So I don't know how much this YouTube ban is going to affect her. But what's your take on this? Why do you think that that YouTube decided to target Amouranth of all people?
I mean, she's gonna get less new fans over there, right? I haven't seen Amouranth in a long time. I'm looking at her Twitter page right now. Damn, the girl is thick as hell. Oh my god. I think that she's gonna have the tap of people coming from her normal channels like Twitch, YouTube, Kick, whatever, it's gonna slowly slow down. So she might be making plenty of money right now, but like it's not sustainable. So she's gonna be living off her Sims for a long time, but she's fine. She's probably gonna be just fine for the next 5 years.
I think she's got enough money she can retire today and never have to worry about it again.
Right. Or she can literally go, hey, MindGeek, whatever the company owns the hub, websites. Hey, how much to do an exclusive adult film? And those guys are gonna be like, here's $20 million for the Amouranth tapes or whatever. Mm-hmm. And next thing she's gonna end up doing she'll end up doing porn. Like, it will not be once the Sims start to go away, you'll see Amouranth the next 5 years in porn if she can't turn the tap back on. And you know what? She'll be just fine. She'll make millions and millions of dollars. No one will care.
Well, Brian, I mean, that's basically like
her net worth, according
that's
to
my
this
strategy.
website.
Once the tap turns off, I'm going to do an exclusive porn for sure.
On Celebrity Net Worth, it says she's worth $25 million. So
I think that's a little bit low.
It's probably really low.
Yeah, 33 million, like a couple $1 million a month, right? Like,
yeah, but Brian, I think she already does, porn on her OnlyFans stuff. Maybe not hardcore, but like she's definitely putting in.
It's not hardcore.
Nudes and simulations.
I think we should ask
remember like
Odin,
one
does
night
she
in
do a lot
Paris?
of porn? I can't.
I would have no idea, and it's just sad that we've gotten
Odin
to
is
this
a top
point in
supporter.
this discussion.
A
Jeez.
top Amouranth supporter.
Well, speaking of Odin, so Odin, I wanted to throw this idea of the creator responsibility policy that YouTube has to you. This to me just seems like they could use. It's an excuse to basically ban people for anything, right? Where it's like, oh, you jaywalked one time like a year ago. That's against the law. Therefore, you're a criminal, and we're going to deplatform you.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a really slippery slope, especially like like we are. And we're going to be talking about this later on the show. You have people like Gary, who is a like previously convicted felon and stuff like that. Obviously, like, he's someone who's straightened his life out and, turned his life around, and he's an inspiration to a lot of people. But YouTube could basically just say like, oh, you were in jail one time, therefore we're not going to give you a voice or a platform to speak your mind. So what's your take on this creator responsibility policy that obviously Amouranth got slapped with?
I want to say I've heard this story before already, because didn't Patreon do something very similar, where they had something similar in their policy, and that's what
with Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah. Exactly, right? So it's not anything new for these companies to have the policies like this. And even if you gave it like the most generous description, because there is a very generous way of showing it. Well, if you think about it, if somebody is on your platform and then they straight up murder somebody, but they didn't do it on the actual platform itself, this would allow them to be potentially removed for any, crazy things like that. Okay, that's very, very generous. However, even then you're like, okay, yeah, this is still a bit of a problem, because then you're leaving that policy up and into the hands of these corporate shills who are only going to, as being the, they're really not creatives at this point. They are just completely nothing more than activists. And so these activists are just going to be pushing the scales in one way, removing people who are of only one side of the political aisle. And they are therefore going to use and abuse the system to continue and to push their own personal agendas going forward. And really, I think the big problem ultimately is how do you actually bring about a correction of this? Because, you have differing opinions on this of, okay, you can bring a lawsuit, but what's a lawsuit necessarily going to do if there's not consistency in enforcement of law or interpretation of law, if there even is one that you could really get at this point. And then the other is, well, you could use alternative sites, but it's at the same time like, okay, yeah, even if you try to start a movement, the amount of people that use sites like YouTube, for instance, right, it would make maybe a little more sense to have a potential to do something with Patreon, but with YouTube, even if you have your entire fan base and you have 1 million subscribers, that's not going to be enough to make a dent in pushing the company to move away from these tactics. So, yeah, I mean, again, I understand their policy to a very, 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 very small extent, but it's so clear that they are using it in very specific ways, and they are essentially trying to, it's kind of like, reminds me of that Disney terms of service nonsense, right? Where it's like you could literally agree to do something insane that makes no sense because you didn't read every single word of the, hundreds of pages worth of terms of service sometimes. And it kind of reminds me a bit about that.
I've been canceled like 15 times.
Yep, you certainly have. When are you starting your OnlyFans, Tom?
Tuesday.
Right on. Got to have that supplemental income.
Yeah.
I need the first day
Tom
off.
and I are doing a collab.
Yeah, collab.
I did not agree to this.
You did. You were drunk, but you did. And I already have it on film, so you can't stop.
Wait, I don't drink.
Well, Tom, what do you think of Amouranth getting all of her channels, even her personal channel that she's never posted to, taken down off of YouTube?
I don't really know or follow this person at all, really. I just kind of know the name. No, seriously, I don't. These guys believe me because they know I don't pay attention to nothing. Maybe a tit that flies in my face once in a while. But no, like, I think you guys are pretty much on point. I think it's either A, she is being made an example of because she's using YouTube as a platform to jump off of, which I know is something they're not too happy of with, like, the green machine, as we like to call it. So that might be them setting themselves up for future endeavors and stopping people from using YouTube as one platform to send people to others. Otherwise, I see it as a possibility of hitting some easy targets to test this idea of, can we get away with just dumping people if they're popular elsewhere for whatever reason, like Matt was just pointing out, like somebody like Gary, who's been, to jail and whatnot in his past, and doesn't matter what he's done now. If they want to use his past against him for whatever reason or whatever else they want to use. I mean, that's the thing, is the timing of this seems odd with what's going on with, the people trying to cancel everybody over Star Wars and shit like that. And I'm not unconvinced that rewriting Ripley and Disney aren't in on all this shit trying to get us all shut down. So it could be one of the half of the other and a half, 6 of the rest. I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't really know Amouranth's stuff that well. I mean, I thought she already did porn, but that was just because of the way people talk about her. So I don't know.
I just look. She does not.
Okay,
And the green machine you're referring to is Kick, right?
No.
You're talking about Rumble?
Yeah.
Because Kick bought her like a $200,000 car, so she's working with Kick. I'm just looking at her right
Well,
now.
That could be part of it too.
She's got an exclusive contract with Kick to stream on there, as opposed to Twitch.
It's funny because Kick is big too.
That might be why YouTube dumped her.
It's possible, but she's been on Kick for a number of years now, which brings me to you, Mr. Butters. First of all, the chat wants to know when you're starting your OnlyFans for your feet.
Soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
We're in the process of filming.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Will you be chugging Gatorade while you show off your
I'm gonna dump Gatorade over my feet.
We're gonna pour Gatorade.
Wow,
over the feet,
we're taking the picture, and we're gonna put it in super slow motion.
Yeah,
to where you
super
can, like,
slow mo.
to where you
Tom's in the background, just confused.
Yeah, like super high def slow mo to where you can like see the drops of Gatorade just kind of
Like
flowing between my toes. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be amazing.
So, Mr. Butters, you know about Kick. And
No, not really.
The crap show that it is over there.
It's
And Amouranth has been streaming over there exclusively ever since they paid her all that money to do so.
Mhm.
What's your take on this? Do you think that her stuff over on Kick was a deciding factor for YouTube, or is it just that YouTube?
I haven't watched her stuff on Kick. In fact, I haven't watched any of her stuff hardly at all, other than maybe 5 minutes 6 months ago when we were talking about her for some reason back then.
Was it
I'm not
5 minutes?
Yeah, fast 5 minutes. I'm not a fan. I don't like the AMSR stuff. I think she's just, she's just one of these chicks that I lambast about all the time about, eating cereal in a hot tub while looking hot and people throwing tons of money at her. I don't appreciate it and I don't like it. That being said, do I think she should be canceled if that's working for her? No, I don't think she should be at all. If that's what you do, that's what you do. I don't have to like it. I just don't watch it. That's just kind of how I am. Let people do what they want to do. As far as Kick goes, I'm not a huge fan of Kick. I feel like I have to go take a shower every time I go over there and flip through their assortment of channels, but
just a bunch of hot tub streamers.
It's gross, dude. Kick is pretty nasty. I'm not gonna lie.
I've never been on Kick before.
Yeah, it's
check it out.
Yeah. In fact, when I was setting up the Salty Nerd Gaming account, which we do have a stream account over there, and but I just multi-stream from YouTube. It just automatically goes over there. I barely even pay attention to it, so I need to give it a little bit more love. But the thing that Kick has going for it is their payout. If you can get partnered over there, they give you like 95% of what the money you make, whereas YouTube gives you like, I think 70%, and Twitch is like half. So there's a reason people go to Kick, and that's the main reason. But as far as her getting canceled, no, I don't think it's cool. I don't think there's a reason any of these people should be getting canceled on their streams. Let them do what they want to do if they're not breaking any laws. That's kind of where I'm at. So
yeah.
Was she fired specifically for like the inappropriate content she does, basically?
I have no idea.
They didn't say.
Okay.
YouTube had created a policy against ASMR, essentially, like sexualized ASMR.
Okay.
And basically, they took her ASMR channel down for quote unquote overly sexual content. And but like that was one of those things where she had like this microphone, she just like whisper into it, and she like looked seductive while she was doing it, but she wasn't really saying anything graphic or like.
What's the matter, Matt? You don't like ASMR?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I think it's important to point out that Kick is it's basically a loss leader for a gambling site, essentially.
Right.
So basically, they use it to get people into gambling, and other than hot tub streaming, the most successful streams over there are like slots or like poker or like whatever the case may be. So, Kick just by its very nature is kind of icky because it's trying to funnel people into the gambling site. But I want to throw this out to the whole panel here, which is basically, we're all YouTubers, right? And we know how painful it can be when YouTube drops the hammer on you, especially like if this is like your job, if it's part of your livelihood. Brian, you guys famously got slammed for a BS, duplicate content strike or something like that, that set you guys back, like just killed your momentum for your interview.
We're doing great. On the way to 10K, getting 50,000 views on an interview, and then none.
And my experience with Google is Google doesn't give a crap about anyone. They don't care. You could be spending so much money with them, and they'll just be like, "See you later. We don't care about your small business. We don't care about your livelihood. We don't care about your family." So this kind of stuff to me isn't surprising. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think? What effect do you guys think this has on other YouTubers when they see like people who are at the top of the mountain just suddenly get banned for no reason?
Well, I kind of find it frustrating and demoralizing. True, we've been working on the Salty Nerd channel, grinding that thing out every day for 4 or 5 years now, and it'll be really frustrating if we stick it to it with another 4 or 5 years. We're a decade in, and we're finally getting some numbers that we like, and all of a sudden that just gets yoinked away because of something that I said in a Escape from New York review in 2021, 5 years ago or so. It would be ridiculous. Yeah, it makes you wonder. It makes you take pause to think about, is this something that we really want to keep on doing a little bit? So I'm not going to stop, but it does make you think about it. It's like, do I need to like tone down a little bit? Do I need to like not just be as free with my words? Because I'm pretty free with my words. I don't hold back, but at the same time, we have the little button that you start on every single video that says, is this video made for kids? And you push no. And when as far as I'm concerned, I can pretty much say whatever the hell I want if that button's pushed, because we're not marketing to children. We're not making these videos for kids, so I don't know. It's just it's very, very strange, very frustrating. I feel like it's just, you're kind of at the whim of the morals of whoever is pushing the buttons behind the scenes there at Google. And it probably changes from time to time. So it's probably going to keep on changing too in the future.
I feel like there needs to be like an internet bill of rights or something like that protects people from this type of behavior, especially people who like build a business based around some of this stuff. Obviously, like private companies have the power to kind of do what they want, but at a certain point, it gets so big that it becomes like an actual free speech issue, right?
And there needs to be a cultural shift and a cultural change too, because I probably have one of the more unique positions on this, because in the case of Amouranth specifically, as you all know, I am not supportive at all of that kind of content. And if I was for any type of censorship, I would actually be of that kind. But again, that's coming just from a very strict, just Catholic morality viewpoint there. But what I would say is that I think that as far as going beyond like things that are not on this platform, impacting your decisions here, the other thing that we have to kind of consider, because we don't often think about it, is when the internet first got introduced, there were some very light guardrails put onto it. And it really has, I think, led to a lot of problems, because nowadays, in order to get onto a place like Google, for instance, to create an email account, to get access to any of these things as far as their content goes, you really don't have to do much, especially if you're like a child. Like, you can just make a fake email, a fake profile, and get access immediately to any of these things. And so that's why it's not even just about like laws that need to be passed, or I think an Internet Bill of Rights would be a good idea for content creators specifically, to protect content creators. But I also think that there needs to be another part of it, another piece of it, which is maybe we should start to really look at the internet in a slightly different way, to try to ensure that, that the crazy content that is out there that could actually have damaging impact and damaging effects on kids especially. But that can only happen. That can't be forced through law. That can only happen through a cultural shift. And it starts with us, starts with our families, starts with, us as a society.